today I wanted to sort of talk more on the subject of blame. Because now I see, looking at news sites, that people always tend to blame other people. It's other people's fault. And other people need to be held to account. And some of that negativity of always blaming others tends to miss an important point. One of the things, if you blame others and want them to change, it's a lot of effort. And sometimes they would be unable to change. So sometimes that people start, even this time of year, blaming me. You know why they blame me this time of year? Because many people, before they did their exams, they came to me to ask for some chanting and some holy water. And you know what happened? They didn't pass their exams. And so they blame me. It's my fault. This actually happened some years ago. This Malaysian girl, that she came to me to do some chanting. She was doing her, I forget, first, second, third year university exams or whatever it was. And she said, can you do some chanting? I got my exams next week. So I chanted, really give everything I've got for exams. And afterwards, she never came back. I never saw her again. But some of her friends came and told me, said, she's going around telling all of her friends, Ajahn Brahm is a bad monk. Ajahn Brahm is no good. Don't go to that temple ever again. You know why? Because she failed. And she blamed me for that. And all of her friends said, look, Ajahn Brahm, I know they're blaming you. You've got nothing wrong with you at all. You're a good monk. It's just that she was her first year away from her parents in Malaysia. And that when she came here, she was like free. And so she spent the first year just going to parties, chasing boys, or letting boys chase her, I'm not quite sure which. But anyway, that she was just a party girl having a great time. And she thought when it came time for examinations and tests, that Ajahn Brahm will look after that part of her student life. And of course you can't do that. You know, you can help a little bit, encourage people, but at least you need to do some homework and studies yourself. And so that just reminded me how easy it is to blame somebody else. And especially we have the one of Ajahn Chah's stories. I was just thinking of this as I was coming in here. And one of his stories is very rarely I say this story because it's so simple, but I use this a lot in my own personal life, about a man who was walking through the forest and he saw a hole dug in the forest. And at the bottom of the hole was a great treasure. And he reached down to try and get that treasure, that gold. And he stretched and stretched and stretched, but he couldn't reach the gold. So he just gave up. And as he walked away, he saw another fellow and he said, oh, there's a hole down there. If you pass it, forget about it. There's a lot of gold down there, but it's too deep. And the man he met got to that hole. What are you talking about? It's too deep. The problem was not the hole was too deep, but his hand was too short. So he extended his hand by getting a stick with a hook on, and he could hook all the treasure out. And how often is it in life? It's not the hole is too deep, but our arm is too short. A different way of looking at it. It's not the exam is too hard, but maybe that we're not using our intelligence in such a way to see other ways of dealing with that problem. And this was something which I always recalled in my life. There's never a problem which is too difficult. It's just my mind, my intelligence, my innovation has yet to find a way to solve it. The hole is never too deep, but our arms are sometimes too short. It's a very positive way of looking at life, because when we spend too much time being negative and blaming, it's her fault, it's his fault, it's the government's fault, it's Ajahn Brahm's fault, it's God's fault, it's life's fault, it's somebody's fault. How often, when we're blaming others, that we are not really being active and actually doing something much more positive. It's the old rather light a candle than complain about darkness. Rather turn on the aircon than complain about the heat. Rather just take off your blanket than complain. Well, there's always something which I find you can do no matter what happens in life. But sometimes people get such a negative attitude in life, they think, no, it's impossible. And when it's impossible, then you go and blame somebody else, or you blame yourself, you blame somebody. And that sort of blame game is something which I think is just not being proactive in life. There was Venerable Chanda, who's probably listening, over in UK. She sent an email today with a lovely little quote, an old Chinese proverb. I don't know why they call it old Chinese proverbs, as if the only wisdom was in China. But anyway, you know the old Chinese proverbs. And this one was saying that a person who thinks it can't be done should not disturb a person actually doing it. Which I thought was very wise. Often we say, it can't be done, it can't be done, it can't be done. But there's other people actually doing it and finding solutions to some of the big problems in life. So never think it can't be done. At least, if you do, don't interrupt people actually doing it and solving those problems of life. Because again, that negativity, that blaming, does not help at all. So often in life, whenever there's any problem, we just learn how to do it, and learn how to extend our arm, learn how to do those extra studies, learn how to somehow or other find problems instead of blaming.